So it's been a while since I've done a video down at Tip Top with different things going on, but today this is the focus of what we're looking at, and this is Cognac, which is a 1925 car. So for those of you that don't know, the CO is Cohen, who made the car.
Two brothers owned it, yeah.
Yeah, and then GN is Godfrey Nash.
Yeah. And
it's got an AC engine, so it was named Cognac, which is quite good, really. So James and the guys have been doing a fair bit of work to this car. It's all been stripped down and cleaned up and what have you. So it's just in the process now of getting back together. And I'll have to mention that I've just recently done the dashboard, cleaned it myself and give it a bit of a polish up, so that's looking okay. And see the couple of different badges and such on here, and that actually tells you about Cognac. I don't know if you can see, that's a bit awkward to get in, but there we are underneath there. So I'll let James explain what's actually been going on with it.
Yeah, we initially were going to put a new set of chains on it ready for the season, and you've got to have the tail off to do that, and we were just plonking the chains on. We'd boiled them in the usual greasy oily stuff, and we noticed that the back axle was not in line with this particular bar at the back of the chassis.
Right.
And we stood back and looked at it and thought, it's not twisted, is it? We don't know this car's ever had a crash. It's been pretty crash free, I think, in all its life.
Yeah.
Mind you, on foot it may have had a bit of history with it, I don't know.
Yeah.
We ended up doing a corner weight test on it, and the front wheels weighed 50 kilograms difference between them.
Right.
Which means that there was quite a lot of inbuilt twist.
Yeah.
But with no, like I said, no obvious sign of damage, so we think it was welded bent. So it's a very flexible floppy chassis because it's a vintage GN chassis.
Yeah.
Vintage GN, yeah. But they've gusseted it and filleted it in and made it a lot stiffer. But honestly, I think they welded it in a twisted state.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter massively on a car with a fixed diff, because as we know, it's got a locked diff. There's a chain drive rear end. You're not going to spin one rear wheel ever.
No.
It matters mainly under braking, because your front wheels weigh different amounts and the lighter one will lock up before the heavier one.
Yeah.
And it has been a little bit unpredictable on brakes. One brake got hotter, but the other one used to lock up quicker, which was a bit odd. So it prompted us basically to pull the whole car right back to a bare chassis and straighten up the bent bits.
Right.
So it's been absolutely right down, and of course while it's down you see little jobs here and there that need doing, and we've lightened a few bits, of course we have. Sometimes when there's holes already drilled, like a pepper pot down here, you don't know what to do with that apart from join them up. But we've added some holes here and made these brackets nice and radiused corners. We've lightened the shockers there. The front drums are all they're steel. We couldn't do much about those.
Yeah.
Bar make some Alfin drums, but we lightened the back plates a little bit and the shoes inside. We don't worry too much about water ingress when it's a racing car.
No.
Yeah, and we lightened the hub spinners as well. We decided not to drill holes in this bit. We've just thinned the ears down.
Right.
Having looked at the ERA hub spinners. So when I run this car at Cadwell, I put the 16-inch wheels on it.
Right.
These wheel centres are short centres. The rear centres are long ones, and so you've got to if you're going to put long wheel centres on the front, I have to put the ERA wheel spinners on, which kind of reach down the inside of the wheel. And having done that, I really like the ERA spinners, so we thinned these down like the ERA ones, and of course hollow up the middle. Rear hubs, we took a little bit of weight out of those around here, and all the numb bits, they are aluminium already, so they're quite nice. So this is your classic lock differential rear end, and you can see how it works quite easily. So all the sprockets freewheel on this, the counter shaft, ordinarily, and this is called the double dog. That's driven by a key inside, so that's driven on the shaft, which is from the prop shaft, and then to engage the gears, you move the double dog sideways. So that's third gear there, fourth gear there, first gear there, second gear there. And then once the dog is engaged in the countershaft sprocket, that drives the back axle. So of course all 4 chains are going around all the time, lashing around, solidly driven off the rear axle, if you like. I like these back plates as well. It's got a rather unusual system, peculiar to Cognac, where the springs are down below the chassis, and they come in these dangling cradles underneath. And it's nearly done. We lightened the steering wheel boss as well. That was a big heavy steel thing before. That weighed a kilogram on its own, which we're not too impressed with.
No.
And every time Jolyon climbs in and out, he's got the steering wheel in his hand because it's detachable. So that it's a real annoying thing.
Yeah, you don't want to be.
And the old floorboards were these wooden planks, which looked a bit manky. And we thought it deserved some lightweight aluminium floor. So this is where the gear cross shaft engages and runs these sliders, which is quite nice. And we made a golf course out with a fuel filler cap. Put 18 holes in there.
Holes in it,
Not bad for freehand drilling, that, I thought.
No. Yeah, looks good.
So it'll be testing at Blyton with the Huddersfield Motor Club on the 26th of February, of April, something like that. Can't remember the exact date, something like that. Might be the 29th. Anyway, just to make sure it's all ship shape. So Jolyon will be hill climbing it, and we're doing the Nash race at Cadwell again.
Right.
For anybody who's
following it.
It's a good little car. It's steeped in history. It's got such a cool, sexy name, hasn't it, Cognac? But it's always been fast. So Ron Foote was arguably the most famous owner of this car. In fact, I think he was. I'm sure he was. And he used to give the Bentleys and all the cars in the VSCC a right good run for the money, and has won loads of trophies. And then Freddie Giles owned it after that, and then Trevor John, and then Tony Lees, and now Jolyon Harrison. It's
quite a car.
Oh, we took a bit of weight out the tail as well. That's just over there, as you know, Jeff. So we've cleaned up all the inside, but it had a steel frame inside the tail there,
which frame off. So
we decided it was just not necessary. Having played around with the ERA tail with no frame in it whatsoever, we thought, what's the point? There were some easy pickings for weight loss. Some were difficult and more cosmetic, if we're honest. But some, blimey, we really did mill some big lumps off it in places. It'll be exciting to see what we've dropped the weight down to.
So in future, once it's all built up, hopefully I'll be here when it's finished rebuilding, and before it goes back to Jolyon, and then hopefully I'll also be at Cadwell to see it perform.
Pole position last year. Disappointing when the double dog broke. And the chain broke, so we put it on pole for it to come to naught. But there we are. That's racing.
Well, it is. So watch this space.